When they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, you're listening to UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network on 105.3, 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, and this is The Thing at the Foot of the Bed. I am one of your hosts, Lorilei Potvin. I am a Canadian psychic medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, and registered nurse, as well as a budding animal communicator, well-versed in near-death experiences, having studied them for over 40 years professionally and personally, and very well-versed in the paranormal, not by choice. They found us. Anyways, I also have my own show on Monday nights that look like The Thing at the Foot of the Bed because of my human error, but you guys all found us, thank God. The Angel Rock, from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live. And just a few little housekeeping things, and I'm going to pass it over to Dave, my amazing co-host. So we have our own TV channel. If you want to find that, you want to watch us on TV. Many of our great shows from the network stream over there. It's on Roku. You're going to go to the channel store, type in UFO space P as in paranormal, and you're looking for the drop-down menu. We're about the third or fourth one down. You're looking for UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio, and that is us. Then click on there, and you please share, like, and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Tell all your friends and family. This network has been around for over 25 years. We have multiple shows that stream live 7 days a week, and when we're not streaming live, the archive server randomly picks shows over the last 25 years and streams them. So we always have something playing on UPRN. Also, I can't forget about this. I got to remember to read this part at the end too. If you guys want to join in the conversation, now this network, all of our shows go out to every country around the world. We have a massive global audience. The 80% of our audience is audio. Excuse me. And if you know about the Angel Rock and you know about this show, they're both largely audience participative. So if you want to join the conversation, once we get all our housekeeping out of the way, we always say hello to our audience. You can come join us. And where you need to go is to either UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio, either on Facebook or YouTube. We are streaming on Canada's Most Haunted. I'm streaming on Instagram under the Angel Rock. Just so you know, if you are listening on Instagram, they don't integrate the chat here. I'm not ignoring you. So if you can, head over to one of the YouTube channels. David, my co-host, is streaming on the Spirit Experience on his YouTube channel and his group. I'm streaming on my profile. I've just pinned it to the top under Lorilei Potvin on Facebook. And I think you should be able to find us, like I said, and come join the conversation. The more the merrier. I don't want to forget to read this because they are coming, the people that are putting this on Monday on the Angel Rock. So come hang out with us in Thunder Bay, Northwestern Ontario in Canada, where I live, this October 4th to 6th, 2024. For the Lake Superior Paranormal Convention, or Lake Superior Paracon. Tickets are available now. There's VIP plus Supernatural and VIP plus tickets, but they are limited. There's also regular tickets too. There's going to be talks, workshops. There's going to be a paranormal investigation and vendors. Some of the guest speakers will include Shane Pittman, Jeff Belanger, our own Carrie Lynn Shellhorn here from UPRN. She's on Fridays with Spirit Switchboard from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. She's an incredible medium, very intuitive, has a fantastic group on Facebook. Check her out, her show on Friday. She has great guests, and I get to finally meet her in person. And she's going to be having a special event called, she's going to be giving messages from Spirit on the Sunday, and it's a Spirits and Sweets event. You guys don't want to miss that. The other people coming are the Travel Channel's Beyond the Haunting. I got to put that in my brain. I know it's from the Travel Channel and what they look like, but I forget the name. So Beyond the Haunting. D. Macaulay from Dark History. He's from this area. He's been on the Angel Rock before. The Winnipeg Paranormal Group, which is to the west of us, one of the provinces over, and so many more, including myself. I will be doing a talk in one of the smaller rooms, and I will be having a table selling lots of merchandise there. So excuse me, you want to check it out. It's going to be put on by Lucky Paranormal, a local paranormal group. They are coming on the Angel Rock Monday night, so we're going to ask them all kinds of questions. And if you guys want to buy tickets, you're just going to look up LakeSuperiorParacon.com. And we'd love to have you guys join us up here. It's a beautiful time of year. Thunder Bay really is a beautiful place, and we have every kind of paranormal you could possibly imagine. On to you, Dave, finally, with all this rambling.
Oh, it's okay. We got to do the housekeeping. We can't have a dusty old haunted house. We got to know.
I know. I think I know where they're going. They're going to a place called the Pioneer Village, which is notoriously, supposedly haunted. But I can think of some more active places. But I'm not running the show. I'm just grateful to be part of it.
Oh, there you go. Hi, everybody. My name is David Hanzel. I am a spiritual medium. I am a channel and a coach, and I study near-death experiences, not as long as Lorilei has. I had one in 2015, but I've just been studying them a little bit since.
I forgot to mention I had one as a toddler, but I don't remember a lot. When people talk about them, I can literally see it or hear it or smell it, but yeah, it's not the same as the experience.
She had a baby death. Little bitty. Yeah. Little. But you know what? It's people have them all. I mean, near-death experiences, you can have them when you're 4, 14, 24, 44, 54, 74, 84. It don't matter. Yep. Whenever you needed that reset, that's when it happened. That's how I kind of been looking at it lately. Somebody has said they also have an 18 orange tabby. Carmel usually comes in at the end of the show, but for some reason he is sitting here staring at me now, and I don't know why. And that's why I was playing with him. Hi, honey.
We have a litter. We had litters of kittens. They're all in responsible, loving homes, still in touch with all the owners until we got our cats when we lived in the previous home. Spayed and neutered. And you would not believe the differentiation in size and color and you name it. And people will say, yes, well, cats and dogs can have multiple fathers to their offspring. Well, guess what? It was all the same mother, obviously, but same father. They never went outside. There was only one male cat. It was crazy. We have an orange tabby. My son has them, Ollie. And there's just something about orange cats. And I think the orange cat owners will describe that they are unique.
Yeah. And isn't there something about, because I think somebody told me, and I think I got this right. Like when a mother has a litter of kittens, they can literally all have different fathers.
That's what I just said. That's what I just said. Broken dogs. Okay. But they don't have, none of our kittens had different fathers. They all had the same father. Because there was only one male in the house, we did have a haunted house, unless we had ghost cats.
Ghost cats. Oh, we talked about ghost sex last week.
We did have a kitten disappear.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. It was terrible. I don't know what happened to it. There wasn't a sign of mom doing something to it. It literally disappeared. I swear to God to you. We tore that house up and down for days, like every little space. We were in the vent. We went everywhere. This kitten was only about a week old. Yep. I never found him. Never found a trace of him. Nothing. Mm-mm.
We'll say hi to you guys in a minute, but I'm just looking at Michelle Wilfong's comment, and it says, I have a video of ghost dogs barking. I also have screenshots of rods, which I think are pets. I just had brought that up last week, I think, when we were talking that the rods, like rods and orbs, rods were animal spirits. But I mean, I don't know that for sure. But the consensus is that they are there. Feel like new topic. I don't know. We might, we'll do it. If there's a topic on it, we'll discuss it. I don't know much about it.
Well, for people listening, we'll have to read it. It's Sandra Sharp says new topic, feline ghost sex.
Which is hilarious. I do know this. I'm pretty sure about this though. There aren't necessary ghost animals aren't like ghost humans. In a sense,
in what way?
Animals don't have anything that would keep them here. They have no reason or no trauma that they would have.
I have evidence of animals staying here. I have pictures.
I'm not saying they don't stay here and stay around you. I mean, as a ghost, like when people go, there's a cat that's trapped in this house for all these years and eternity and all that. I'm like,
I don't think they're ever trapped. No.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But
that's what you meant. Okay, now I gotcha.
Yeah, as far as ghosts coming around, and far as like cause I have a ghost cat in my house all the time. My old cat's here all the time, and I guess you could call it a ghost cat, but it's basically a spirit visiting me. And I've been to places though. I will have to say, I was at one place and everybody told me that they called it a ghost. It was a cat, I believe. Saying that this cat was always there and it was like a ghost, or they called it a demon cat. They'll do whatever to get, likes on something. But when I went there, I was like, you're damn right. There's an animal here in spirit, but I don't think it's trapped here. I think it's literally just playing with you guys. I think it likes the company. I think that's why it was hanging out.
I think animals stay around, or I think our loved ones can be with us when we think of them, whenever we can, I don't think we have all the answers when we go back home. But animals, I think that they will have an energetic piece of them stay with you, especially while you're grieving and trying to heal and what have you.
That. Oh, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I mean, people do too. And sometimes people will hang around with you for a long time, and people say, like my aunt died and she's in my house and she won't leave. Is she a ghost? No, maybe she's just trying to hang out with you. You mean it's not a ghost? I guess it all boils down to what we put behind the label. I guess that's all it is.
All about perspective. Let's say hi to everybody. Sandra Sharp. Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying? Sorry.
Nope, I said you're correct. That's all it is. It's perspective.
So it's got Sandra Sharp. Hi, everyone. Michelle Wilfong says, hey. Diane Brighton. Hi, everyone. And Michelle Wilfong says, I have an 18-pound orange tabby, though. That's a big cat. Kathy Hanley Little says, good evening, Lorilei and David. Nicole Thomas Ryan says, hi. Michelle says, I love my pets. We love our babies, too. Our fur babies, yes. And Polly Miller says, mice hunters. Well, they can be. Michelle says, I have a video of ghost dogs barking. I also have screenshots. Okay, you read that already, David. I'm sorry about the rods. And she said they are spiritual. I agree. My orange tabby is very spiritual. Speaking of spiritual animals, and she usually pops in here a little bit later, Julie Jean Bassett. I've mentioned her many times, incredible shamanic healer, but also animal communicator. And she helped me with my dog over the last few weeks. Something was going on. And the first thing she said to me in all the years doing this, she didn't think she'd ever met an animal that was so connected to universal consciousness and psychic. And of course, I said, look what I do. And of course, I'm going to get a dog like that. So... And never mind the Egyptians. I think the Egyptians knew a lot, and they revered cats, right, Dave? Like, I think their purrs are healing. I believe where a cat lays on you, that you may very well need some healing, and not necessarily physically, could be emotionally, could be spiritually, could be energetically, but I really believe that. What about you, Dave?
Oh, I do. I mean, cats can heal their own systems with their purring.
That's what I think too.
Yeah, and I don't see why they wouldn't try to wouldn't attempt to heal us with that too. Whether they can or not, I don't know, but I'm sure they were going to give it a try. If animals are just love.
My cat that was peeing on my youngest son's bed. Never mind that any attention is better than no attention. Sometimes she would have done it if my son wasn't paying enough attention while he was playing video games. She was literally pissed off. But one of the big things, my son would kick her out at nighttime because he was worried she'd chew on the wires of his headphones and what have you. And through Julie, that she said, the cat said that that's when she does her healing with my son, is when he's sleeping. And she was trying to get across how important it was for her to stay in the bedroom at night. And she doesn't stay every night. And my son will get up when she decides she's ready to go, but there's no problem. Now I was able to explain it even with the autism, and cross my fingers, no more peeing on the bed. So she got her message across.
There was a show. I don't know if you saw it. Steven Spielberg, I think it was called Cat's Eye. Yes. And Cat's Eye. And there's a myth or a lore that went around about cats would lay on the chests of children or babies.
That's a really old wives' tale, though.
Yeah, and suck the breath out of them and all that. And I thought, and of course they blamed crib death on that and everything. But if they were to do that, I could understand how when I'm sleeping, I'll wake up and my cats will be on me, and they're not trying to steal my breath. Not that I know of. In fact, they're probably going pressure.
He had a Himalayan. It was his brother's cat, Himalayan cat, and I think he said it was himself. Every time he'd lay down at night, the cat would rest her chin on his chin and literally be breathing in. And he was breathing. It was so weird and creepy.
Oh, no, I get it, though. Cats did all the time. Kathy Hanley Little says that dogs are healers, too. Of
course they are. All animals are.
Yep. One of my pit bulls would lay down across my back and neck when I was in a lot of pain. And he would taste you to see if he would eat you later. No, I'm kidding. No, I agree. That too. I used to have, my parents had a dog. I miss him so much. His name was Buddy. They still have the sister. She's still alive. She's still going. But I think he was 100-something pounds. The last time they said he was like almost 125, but he was overweight. But he was a big old dog. He was Rottweiler and Boxer or something. Big old black dog. This dog looked scary, but I'll tell you, if you were sad or anything, if you sat on the floor and just hugged him, he would just literally set his head on your face and just hold it there till you found it. It's like, oh, buddy, I love you. He would do that all the time. So I agree with you. Dogs are big healers too.
I think all animals are. I think
I do too.
I think they're earth angels. I think they're guardians. I think that, I always say this, especially with dogs, but I believe it with many animals, where you happen across, you'll see people. I know somebody used to be on the network, even looked after a bee in her garden until it passed. And I've heard of stories of relationships with bees, even, or crows or birds, whatever it may be. But I always say, I don't think you get the pet necessarily that you want. You get the pet that you need. And I've seen it so many times where they help you with whether it's something within yourself that needs healing, again, whether it's physical, energetic, emotional, or spiritual, or mental.
So Now, what you just said about the pet picks you, really. I had just today went to my friend Mary Ann's house, and her friend Sherry was there. Sherry's very hard of hearing, so she has a service dog. It's a Burmese and a poodle mix, a huge dog, Curly. Mm-hmm. And I talked to her about her dog today and what he does and all that. And when she first went to get her dog, she said what they did was the dogs were in training to be service dogs. And then they took the people who were coming in to get the dogs, and they told them that they couldn't pick the dogs. What they did was they put them all in chairs on the other side of the room, and they just let the dogs go. And usually the dogs would sniff around and just go to the person they wanted. And because she said her dog, she sat there and she said her dog just ran right up to her and put his face right in her lap. And she's like, well, this is my new service dog. And the dog is just beautiful. And he wasn't working when I was over there. So since he didn't have his vest on, I could interact with him. Oh my God. Huge, beautiful dog. And you can see how they go where they're supposed to go. They just know exactly what they're doing. I just think animals are fascinating.
We've had two dogs that have picked out, believe it or not, my eldest son, Monty, our Shih Tzu. And he was a little monkey, that guy. He finally went to the Rainbow Bridge about I think it was probably about 3 years ago. He lived to an old age. But my son, my eldest son at the time, was quite young. I think he was about 6. And Monty was 6 weeks old, maybe 5 weeks old. We went to see the litter, and he ran right up to my son Logan, and he settled in his lap and was licking him and doing all cute kind of puppy things. And then we went to go look at other puppies, and Monty was not having it. He was like yipping and barking at that age, like, no, 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 this one's mine. And then the same thing, we had lost our long-haired shepherd Shiloh in our previous home, and my partner was definitely not ready for another dog. And my eldest son said to me, Logan, he said, I have a friend that's had a litter of German shepherds. Do you want to go have a look? And we did. So we had the mom, and then they had a couple other shepherds. And I believe she had our dog, Emmy, who you guys usually see that thinks she's the lap dog. I think there was 11 puppies all around the front yard. Thank God they lived out in the country. You know, she wanted nothing to do with me. Who did she pick out? Logan. Well, guess what? When we were leaving, I said to her, and usually animals really like me, but she was like, nope, I'm going to this guy over here. So I whispered in her ear, no worries. Soon you'll be mine. And guess who she's bonded to? Mom. Cats do too. Like, and there's so many stories you will hear of people, or I love the dodo because it's such beautiful. Hi, Angel. It's such beautiful stories. And, you know, this little kitten will show up out of nowhere, and it'll be in a parking lot or somewhere, and they tell the story of how bonded they are. I think animals, like Nicole is saying here, animals do pick their people. I'm going to say hi quickly to Roger Garza. We've got Herbert Lopez here. I hope I've seen Polly, just so I don't miss anybody. We appreciate you all.
Kassan?
Kassoon's here. Okay, we've got Michelle. I'm going up here. We've got Michelle. She's in Australia. She already told me she's working, so she's listening at work. It's Friday over there. I'm thinking it's Monday. Let me see, make sure I didn't miss anybody. If I did, shout us out, guys, if we miss you. Ruth Kleber. Hi, everybody. And Kassoon is here. Hi. So, yeah, I think animals do. But like we've talked about this before in the show, and I know my other show, that you know, when animals show up, even in your field of whatever, I've told the story of the baby skunk many times, sneaking up on me in the middle of my backyard at 2 a.m. and me thinking it's my dog licking my toe. And it was the baby skunk. And then he kept showing up, and I looked up the spiritual significance of it, and it kind of went with what was going on. Would have been 3 or 4 summers ago. So it's kind of cool. Hi, Jackie Lane. So,
hi, Jackie.
I don't know. I just posted. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. I think they are too. I think they're angels completely. Yeah. I just posted in my group today. I came across it. It said it was an old Chinese lore or tale. I don't know. Actually, I can't say I did. It was just what I read. But an old thing they used to do to if you lost a cat, like if your cat ran away and he hasn't come home yet, and it said that you should find go to, which I would do because I've done this before, not into this extent, but go to other cats that are in the neighborhood or stray cats and just say to them, I'm missing my cat. This is what he looks like, and go out and just talk to him. And those cats will get the message somehow to that cat. Yeah. And I wonder I talk to animals all the time. I talk to the birds in my yard here all the time.
The front yard. I feed them. And then we have a little baby bird nest. It is right outside my window in the rafter. And I seen Mommy starting to build it. And then we got the worst snow of all year where I am here in Canada. It came today. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. Last week we were wearing winter clothes again and shoveling snow, but it's almost gone. And I don't think the babies are born yet, but holy cow, she is sure singing her heart out. And I'm so thrilled because I raised both my boys. I didn't know my ex-husband, nor Dell always says he likes animals as long as they're their peoples. But if I'd known either one of them, they weren't mean to animals, but they don't adore them. Like I adore animals as much as people, if not more sometimes.
I adore them more than people.
And my kids were raised that way. Like I drew the line at tarantulas and snakes, but any other kind of animal we have rescued little mice. I know one time my eldest found a little mouse, and it was in the fall, and I could tell he was going to cross to the animal bridge, rainbow bridge. And so I thought, you know what, it's a good lesson for my boys to learn about the circle of life. And, you know, I told them that the most wonderful thing we could do, because this little guy would have been eaten, we put him quietly in a box and put him in a soft, warm bed, left him a little bit to eat if he wanted. But I said, the most important thing we can do is send him love. And he's safe, he's warm, and he knows he's been loved when he transitions back home. So it was good lessons for my kids. And, you know, I have a hard time with people that don't like animals. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but it's like, how could you not love animals? You don't have to be like we are, but how could you not love them?
And even like when I talk to animals on the other side, I don't do tons of animal readings. I like to, like if I'm doing a reading for somebody and somebody just says to me, do you see any of my pets? As soon as I say that, usually one of them pop up and I'll say, is it this pet?
Oh, yeah.
And then, that's them. And then they give me a quick one. Now, animal communicators who communicate, I mean, literally with the other side in there, just there, they can give a lot more information because they look into it more than I do. Usually I do it. I have very few people who just book with me and say, I'm going to contact my dog. Because I'm like, and then they'll book an hour. I'm like, well, how much do you think your dog has to say to you in an hour? I can't. There's not much I can do. But I love when they come. I love when they come through and talk, because animals, if anybody is a medium or anything and does contact or get contact from animal spirits, it's absolutely just a beautiful feeling when they're there. Because like with people, like when I talk to people on the other side, you know, sometimes they'll want to talk about things that happened here, or there might be stuff, you know, that the living wants to, you know, sort out, whatever. But animals never have that. It's like whatever animal I talk to on the other side, I'm like, you doing good? They're like, oh God, yeah. Like
that's why animals will leave when it's time to pass. Sometimes they know why they're here and when their time is to go, and they don't have the issues that we do when we pass. I do want to say to Facebook user, not sure who it is, says no tarantula, I let one live on my patio. He doesn't bother me and keeps the pets away. No, it's not a problem, but you gotta remember I live in Canada, so it can't live on my patio. Second of all, I have held tarantulas. I had a boyfriend that had a pet tarantula. I wasn't afraid of it. I picked up snakes. I've gone to pet stores with my sons. My youngest wouldn't do it, but my eldest, they weren't poisonous, and had my son pet a snake and not be afraid of the snake. Like, you have to be respectful. But with a tarantula, and you need to understand this, and parents, tell me if I'm wrong about this, but generally, if your child promises you, their firstborn child practically, to have a pet, and they're going to do everything, and they're going to feed it, and they're going to do, most likely that pet is going to become yours. And again, I did teach my children responsibility, but when they're at school and they've got extracurricular activities and they've got everything else, right? Who feeds everybody in the home? Whoever does the meals and does everything else, your pet is your family. You're going to make sure they're fed. So I wasn't really comfortable with having to look after a pet spider. And again, when I had pet salamanders, I mean, we had pet baby frogs, we had pet everything. It just, the snakes and the tarantulas, I just, those two, no, they were better in nature. Sorry.
I like tarantulas from a distance. But
I've held one.
Yeah.
I've held one.
I've never held one. I've never had, I mean, there's never a time when somebody said, do you want to hold this tarantula? And I said, yes. I've never had anybody ask me, do you want to hold this tarantula? But then again, I've never sought it out either, you know.
Somebody said hi, Facebook user. Dave, you said they just got to click the blue button if they're from your group.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, if you are watching from any of the Facebook groups, you're watching us right now. If you look straight above us in the logo here, and hit see more, if you don't see it, you'll see a blue link. All I got to do is hit on that. It'll ask you if you want to give StreamYard permission to show your name, and then it will, and that's it.
In your photo.
You don't have to, as Lorilei would say, you don't have to do that. We love you whether we can see your name or not. If you want us to know your name, you don't want to go through all that.
Or
just
type it behind your name even, or come over to YouTube too, whatever. Now, somebody asked about the pet medium I mentioned. I will bet you she will be here unless she's working. Her name is Julie Jean, Jeanne, Bassett.com. And if you can't remember, just message me afterwards. Send me a message on, she'll be here. I'm sure she will be. Dave, she's here almost every Thursday.
Yeah, she's always here at some point. Yeah.
I love what Michelle Plummer says. I just pray they ask for a pony, meaning her kids, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Hi, Howie.
Hey, Howie. I also, yeah, I've had, oh my God, I was addicted to turtles and frogs and all that. I kept them so many times. Unfortunately, the first couple little baby toads I had, nobody told me you had to poke a hole in the top of the jar. So when I was a little kid, I totally, oh my God, I traumatized myself. I didn't want anything to do with living animals for the longest time.
Little tiny baby turtles right now. And I ordered them and try to make a mold of them. I'm making little tiny fish tanks.
Oh, that's cool.
You know what I got hooked on? I haven't even had a chance to tell you this. So I found these. Remember, we've talked about that I haven't grown up, and some of us said we haven't. And I always check out toys, and I love resin. Well, what did they do? What toy did they make that really isn't made for children? It's called Multiverse Minis, and it comes with realistic. I should have brought them upstairs. I got the ones were the lifestyles ones I got, and you wouldn't believe these, Dave. I have this tiny, 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 tiny little bird feeder with the most minuscule little, sorry, I got a dog here. Speaking of animals, of a hummingbird. And then I got a bird feeder with the most adorable little minuscule finch. And and it's with resin. So the liquid in there is resin. So it looks like clear water, but it's actually turns to like a hard plastic. And they had a little fish bowl. I didn't get the fish bowl. So I want to make the fish bowl, and I want to make the turtle, the teeny tiny little turtle. They had a Halloween one I never knew about either. So I'm just going to go mental when the new Halloween and Christmas ones come out. They are so cute. If you saw them, you'd know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I would love that. You know what I was just thinking about?
What's that?
When you were talking about that? When I was a little boy, I love all that little stuff. Oh, by the way, there's a miniature little thing coming out. But when I was a little boy I think I don't know what grade it was. I can't tell you. I just have the memory of, because this is one of the things I remember from being a child, where it was like, I was like kind of traumatized in a way. They wanted us to go out and collect bugs, and then you would stick a pin in them and put
That's
a pin.
why I didn't want the spider and the snake. I could not we had pet rats, and pet hamsters, pet mice. I don't want to be feeding them those foods. I just can't do it. Or
I can't do that.
Or the bugs or whatever.
This was a science project. We were supposed to have an insect diorama or something. We were supposed to get insects, and then you would put a pin through them and you'd label what the insect was and turn it in.
Oh, I was so disgusted in high school.
I wouldn't do it.
Frogs and cats in university. My university didn't have cadavers because we didn't have a medical school. So we had to do a cat for like the whole semester. It was all the nurses that were in my group. There was 4 of us. We were so disgusted. But cats apparently have very similar inner body features as human beings. So it was part of my anatomy and physiology.
I'm surprised I didn't. There's some pig stuff. Yeah, I failed all those classes. I would not dissect a frog. And I grew up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
I'm showing you guys the Halloween minis so you guys can see. You'll see in just a sec here how little they are. They are, oh my God, like these things. And they're so teeny tiny, you guys.
Oh my God, those are cute.
Okay, let me make it bigger for you so you can see. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. You should be able to see. Oh, can you guys see that? Okay, let me see. Yeah, see how tiny they are? They're like just itty bitty little teeny tiny things. So that's why I'm in heaven. This is what I'm working on. That's why I'm making the turtles right now, because I didn't get my own turtle bowl. So I'm going to make one.
Oh, wow. Minute. Yes, I love. They were just talking about the tiny universe today. They're advertising something here.
Oh, the miniverses? I got the Easter ones, and apparently I didn't know this. The ham, like they look like real food. The Easter ones came in these little tiny cupcakes with little bunny ears and carrots that you can, and icing. It was the resin. They look like real foods, and they assemble into a little cake plate. It's absolutely adorable. But apparently the ham I didn't know about. There's a Canadian woman on YouTube, Nerdy Crafter, and she reviews all these kinds of things. And apparently, and it goes by weight. Of course, I found out about this afterwards. It weighs a little bit less. So you think you're getting the ham, but when you open it up, it was the golden ticket and little resin silicone molds to make the Willy Wonka chocolate bars and all the wrappings and stuff. It was a special one. Mm-hmm. Oh, I make fragrance too, Nicole. I'm starting to work on them already.
Speaking of minis, do you remember? Well, Lorilei might, because she's like me. Where
I'm old.
God said, "Let there be dirt," and we said, "Okay, we got some," and threw it down. But there was I can't remember if it's Outer Limits. I can't remember. Twilight Zone, I think it was.
Okay,
do you remember?
That's almost before our time, though.
Yeah. Do you remember who Agnes Moorehead was?
I certainly do. She was from Bewitched.
Yes, she played the mother in Bewitched. Well, she was in, and she won. I guess she won an award for this too. And she didn't even have really 2 words in this. The only people in this clip was Agnes Moorehead, and she played a woman who lived like in the middle of nowhere, and a very small flying saucer landed on her house. And they came in, and she spent the whole movie battling these creatures who were doing stuff to her. And anyway, she finally, at the end, I don't want to ruin it, but you guys got to watch it. It's so good. So it's terror. It's just suspenseful because these little things are coming out, these little miniature space people and all that. Come to find out at the end, after she smashes the ship and all that, you hear a transmission coming. Those were actually astronauts from Earth who were at a planet where all the people were large and they were small. So all this time you thought that Agnes Moorehead was being attacked by these things, and it was actually her attacking.
But that was how the Twilight Zone worked, remember?
Yeah, it was so good. I can't remember the name of it. It was really good.
Well, Kathy Hanley Little says she remembers that, and so does Nicole Thomas Ryan. She said one of her favorites.
That was a really good one. I love that one. I love stuff like that where it like flips it around.
I don't know what it is with little tiny things. They are so cute and they're so tiny. These look so realistic though. And then I didn't even know this. Like this, I've seen it on YouTube and TikTok. It's becoming a thing about real miniature. Like we're talking one. It's the ratio is 1 to 12 for a dollhouse size, and even smaller, like even down to 1 to 48. But the 1 to 12 size and 1 to 6 ratio, they have whole kitchens, and people have channels where they actually cook real food in there. Like they bake real cakes and they'll frost them. They'll have little miniature things like in a real working oven, real working fridge. Like it's quite the thing.
No, that's cool.
I'm going to say hi to a few people on Instagram.
Oh, go ahead real quick. Okay. I'm going to run and grab a glass of water because my throat's killing me. So I'll be right back, guys.
We got Tammy Rivera's James 11 and Psychic Jethro. Guys, not ignoring you on Instagram. Thank you for joining us. They don't integrate the Instagram chat with the rest of the chat. But if you want to join us, head over. A lot of people are over on YouTube. You can go to David's The Spirit Experience. You can go to my YouTube channel, which is The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin, or you can go to one of our network channels, UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio, or Facebook you can too, but sometimes it's hard to see people's names here. I've seen some comments going back here. I'm going to go back a little bit. Oh, Diane said they had to surgically dissect mice in biology. We've got a Cindy here. Did I miss a Cindy? Cindy, if I missed you, Cindy Simpson. Hi, sorry we missed you. I said hi to Howie. I don't know if you heard me. Now, I seen Kassoon say, I generally hate 2 kinds of people. People who cut down trees and people who treat animals badly. Okay, so I have a problem with people treating animals badly. Very, very badly. And so does David. Don't even get us started. Now, about the trees is why I mentioned it. David will understand. I can't speak for where you are now, but having grown up in Wisconsin, and I'm not far from Wisconsin in Canada here, we are surrounded by trees. And I will agree with that. But without trees, we would not have homes. Without trees, we would not have paper. We would not have a lot of things. So what they've started doing here that I really like is what they cut down, they must replace. They must start planting and replacing. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't like anything to be destroyed, but sometimes we do have a symbiotic relationship. So I think it's a responsible thing of a human being, if we're going to be taking from the mother or Gaia or nature, that we do our best to utilize it without waste, right? Thank it for its service, or for, if they're sustaining us in any way, whether that's a shelter or
There
food.
used to be, and I can't remember where the rule came from, and I don't know if it was in Buddhism or not, because some might know. I can't remember. Because when somebody had asked me about, because I don't eat animals, I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if anybody else does. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody had said to me, "Why don't you eat animals?" And I said, "I just don't feel the need to, and I don't want anything to suffer for anything." And they said, "Well, when plants are alive, when you tear something off a plant, it suffers because everybody says plants can feel and all that. Yes, plants, trees, and everything can see us, feel us, and everything else, but they don't have the neurological system that we have." But I will say this: the thing was, if you pick an apple off a tree, it can replace the apple. But if you tear something off an animal, the animal doesn't replace that. So you're not supposed to destroy something that can't, redo itself. So like with Lorilei, I agree with Lorilei wholeheartedly. We have to have that relationship with nature. Nature provides us that, and we provide nature something in return. It's just how it goes. I also hate, like where I live, oh my God, they are tearing down some of the most beautiful, prettiest little forests and patches in North Carolina here just to put up all these freaking houses. I'm like, who do you think is moving in here? It's like, what do you think? They're like a rash of people, but they are. They're tearing down a lot of stuff like that. But we do have to at some point. I say that if you're going to tear down, if you're going to do something to a tree, I'd like, if I was building a house someplace, me personally, if I could afford it, I would relocate the tree instead of cutting it down.
Well, if we could, and again,
If we
we'll
could,
go off on a big tangent about ecology here, but I think the best lesson, and see what you think about this, is if we could each do our part to respect the earth and to do your best, like to recycle. Even recycling, though, I found out, I mean, we could do a whole show, has nothing to do with the paranormal, and we don't recycle the way we think they recycle. Same thing, but with nature, okay, natural things. And I really love, and I know it's not just First Nation, but that's what I know here, that when they have it, they take an animal, right? Everything, they don't take more than they need. And every piece of that animal is utilized, and there is actually a ceremony, not very long, but to thank the animal for helping for them to maintain their life by giving its life, or same as trees or whatever. Or if you can, try not to litter, or just do your part, and then hopefully by example other people will start to catch on. And
it's true. I mean, we'll get it one day. I really do. I have faith that the world will get it one day, and we'll figure out all these things.
No, Polly Miller's right. Like, I have to agree with Polly. In the greenhouse, I regard the lettuces daily and compliment the plants. Yes.
Oh, yes.
I put crystals in my garden because I've talked about this. I don't know. I've mentioned a few times on here, but on the Angel Rock, I know I have. And last year, this is our 4th or 5th summer here. And last year, my partner planted the garden, and he goes, "The garden's not growing very well." And I said, "You know why?" And he goes, "Why?" I said, "Because," and I'm going to grab one of them. I didn't even wash it off. They're both here. Hang on. I said, because, and I put lots of pink quartz too with love. We don't have any crystals in the garden. These are just 2. One's amethyst. This is raw amethyst. Where I live, you can go to a mine and harvest your own amethyst. My son found giant pieces of amethyst at one of the lakes here. It was like a a swimming hole. So he picked up a bunch for me and him. So there's that. And this is aventurine. So I plant a whole bunch of crystals. Hi, Mark Foster. Hi, Jonathan Keyworth. So I plant them in the garden. And talking to plants, it's been proven that they will grow better. That lady, I just sent that video to somebody. She ended up, and it wasn't like she wasn't a recording artist or anything, but I think she just used some kind of recording device because she had a big field of sunflowers and she wondered what they sounded like. So she recorded them and they were singing.
Yeah.
So,
there's a guy.
Well, whether we think they have a neurological system or not, they got something.
They got something. They really do. What was I going to say? There's a guy, even I think he's on TikTok, and I wish I knew what it was called. They call it's like church with mushrooms, but he goes out in the forest to wild mushrooms and he attaches electrodes to them, and they're in the music, and it's attached then electronically to an instrument, and they play beautiful music.
Sorry, go ahead, Dave. I'm thinking out loud here. Go ahead. Sorry. So mushrooms. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
But yeah, if you can plants and all that, they do make sounds. There's Helen DeVita, her name is. I think she's still around.
Somebody asked us about an episode on here I was looking for. Oh, Kim just said, I'm going up a bit. She said, I bought another bird feeder and this has a camera on it so we can see them eating. Oh my God, I love that. I was wishing there was a way I could rig one up. Like it's literally right in the corner up here. I'm on the top floor. I would love, love, love to be filming that when the babies hatched. I was looking, somebody asked about an episode that we've seen. I'm looking for it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to just read this. Michelle Wilfong said, today, April 4th, 2009, my husband passed away and his ashes are in my closet. I send you much love and much healing. And I'm sorry for your loss. Very sorry.
We have at my mom's house, when we have on top their buffet it's I think it's just beautiful. It's my brother, and then before my brother, his dog that he loves so much passed away. So we kept those ashes, and then my brother passed away, and he's next to his dog, and my brother had another dog before that's passed away there, and then my mom's little dog, Miley, has passed away, and then Buddy. So we have all of them are across the buffet over there. And
I have my babies in urns downstairs. Look, my eldest has Monty, who I mentioned. He took Monty, but I have Miley and Shallower for Shepherd. They didn't offer cremation here when I lost my other two dogs years ago, but we have our babies too. Mm-hmm. Well, they weren't babies. You're obviously your brother. And So Cindy's asking Dave, and so is Kasoon down below, how do you and the cats like the new home?
Well, they like it and I like it, but you know what? For some reason, I thought there was going to be some kind of magical feeling that comes with it, and there's none. There really isn't. I like my home.
Except the mortgage.
I don't even care about that. I like my home and everything, but I already know. I already had my talk with Spirit, and it's like, I know this is not my last place. So, but I do like it. I mean, I picked it out, and it's quiet here, so I like it a lot. And the funny thing is, it's a 1935 home, and I know there's people here or there's something here, but nothing scary at all. There's not anymore. I've been like, I'm in my upstairs is my bedroom is this big attic. So it goes way back there. My bed's on the other side, and I'm in here because my office isn't done yet. I've been so lazy and been too tired, but I thought it was going to be hard to sleep here and I'd have to turn all the lights on and everything. It's like, nope, easy. There's a few things here and there, and I saw some things like in the woods next to me where I thought I saw them, but nothing that made me, want to go, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to, go out and do some prayers and say all that stuff. Just fun stuff. Hey, Kevin.
I'm trying to find this video I was going to send. Now I've asked my partner, one of his best friends from high school has moved to the Philippines. Unless there's anybody in the Philippines listening, this is a big thing. I was looking for spooky stuff this month, and I thought I sent it.
Cool.
So, what's that?
You got cool, spooky Philippine stuff?
Well, this guy swears, and there's videos all over TikTok everywhere. I swear to God, I'm going out to check out the moon, but I may not see it. He claims he caught a face next to the moon. He's got a new camera that he can blow it up. And then there was one guy saying, I even looked to see if there was debunkers. One guy was so ridiculous with his debunking. Well, it's because he said, he didn't say OMG. He said something like, he said, I'm not going to lose my stuff. I'll find the video and you'll see, but he didn't say something really over the top, the guy that filmed this. So the video has to be fake because of the wording that he used. He wasn't freaked out enough. Wait till you see this. I will find it. I thought I'd sent it. I'm just looking for it. I sent you a funny, there's been a lot of videos too of people making fun of, oh, here it is. Let me see if I sent it. If I didn't, I'll send it now. People saying that they've got paranormal activity in their home, and it's so freaking cheesy. Like, I live in a house with a ghost and paranormal activity. Look at doors opening on their own. And so the guy's got like all dressed in black with a ski mask on, and he opens the door like you're supposed to pretend you can't see him. We've got ghosts, and you see his feet underneath the white sheet. I sent it to you, Dave. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I did. It was so cheesy. One of them I did. Anyways, you got out of work early. How far along in the show are we? We're an hour exactly. You asked perfectly, Z-Sun Dragon Kevin, because, oh, you saw that, Kathy? Kathy says she thinks she saw it too, because it's perfect for me to do station ID. I usually forget. So if you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with myself, Lorilei Potvin, and my amazing good friend, amazing medium and co-host, David Hanzel. And you're listening to it on 105.3 and 107.7 of the beautiful city of New Orleans on UFO Paranormal Radio Network. And thank you for joining us. So, Kevin, you got out of work early after I screwed everything up. And it was Julie Jean Bassett, who I mentioned earlier. I could not figure out what the heck was going on. Remember, Kevin, because Z-Sun Dragon was there. He goes, it looked like you were going to go live on the Angel Rock, and all of a sudden it went black, and it went to the thing at the foot of the bed. So I wasn't sure if it was a StreamYard problem or not. No, it was me. I guess in my hurry and the problems, we had some technical issues trying to get back and forth onto one of my guests that was on. So I ended up clicking on Thursday night's show, but we figured it out nonetheless. Okay, let's see if this video is there that went through, you guys. I'll share it with you. I don't know what to think of this. Long story short, I asked my partner to ask his friend that's in the Philippines if he has heard or seen anything about this. Oh, poor Michelle. She says, my Wi-Fi keeps kicking me off, so I keep logging on and off. I'm sorry. Okay, let's share.
Oh, your Wi-Fi. I thought you said wife. My wife keeps kicking me off. Tell her to leave you alone. That's what I was going to tell you. Your Wi-Fi.
Okay, hang on. Not very long. Hang on, let me start at the beginning. Okay, I'll show this video. It looks fake to me, but I'm not kidding. You guys take a look at this. You will see there are all kinds of videos and people in different parts of the world. Like, this thing almost seems to be shifting a little bit. It's really strange. I'm not calling it real. All I'm saying is it sure is weird. Hang on, share. Okay, now I gotta go back here. So many buttons to push. Okay. So, oh, you didn't go on there. You're supposed to go on. Add to the stage. I always think it reminds me of some exotic dancer. Then, and the man next to the moon, the face to the moon, is coming to the stage.
I've got it. I've actually got it up here. It's been happening. When is that one from?
Like February 28th and 29th
of this year.
It
goes. Yeah, it goes back to, I got another one here.
29th, I have got me a better quality camera to catch this thing in the sky. And holy moly, I am scared. I'm scared, but I'm not going to trip because I've been catching this thing for a while now.
Kim, you can send it.
It's very ominous. There he is. There he is.
It's hard to see.
There he is.
See if I can make it. I can't make it bigger. Well, let me make it bigger.
It's a huge face. Looking right down on us.
No, well, let me make it bigger.
Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit brighter. There he is. There's the moon. Oh, I lost it. There it is. Let's see if I can get a better picture on the moon like it's supposed to. Is my hand in front of the thing or something? All right.
This is from February. I've seen it earlier, a few months before, but it wasn't quite as shifted. Like it looked like the face was down from a different part in the world.
There it is.
In the Philippines. Look at that.
Yep, there it is. There it is.
Camera makes it so clear.
There it is.
I don't know what that thing is.
It's bullshit,
It
but
is
it
February
is. I have
28th,
to call that. But
29th,
there's another one.
29th.
It looks cool. It really does look cool. But this goes back. There's several other from December of 2023, and then there's some from
I know.
that.
I said that, Dave. I said that.
Yeah, but the guy was. This one is a little different, though. It's not the same. I like that guy that you just showed.
Other people. That's why I'm saying, I'm going, what the heck's going on here? Because the one's from December, and I think I found one as far back as April last year, and it almost looks like, and it's from different parts of the world, but they're not the same. Like now we've got the face almost like one eye peering up. The one I saw from November or December, and it wasn't from the Philippines. The head was down. You could just sort of see the outline. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is either, but yeah, it's this guy is watching this guy's too just now. And the thing that's getting me is they're all a little different. So I don't know if somebody's playing and just doing this. I really don't know. I would think this, if there's a face that was because that one looked really cool. I think that the one that you just showed on there, I thought that looked really cool. But you know what? But you know what? If I were to look out the side and I would see that face right there, I would be calling everybody in the world, the national, anything I could to say there's literally a cool face up in the moon. And none of these people are doing that. They're just like, I'm going to make this and post it on TikTok. No, you call somebody. You don't just
Who are you going to call?
There's a million things. One, you could call the police department. You could call any astronomy that's in your area. Nothing. You could ask them to look up in the sky to see if there's more than one person seeing it.
I guarantee you 100% you cannot call the police. You couldn't call NASA. I will tell you, none of them will give you an answer. I
don't mean that. I don't mean that. I would call them and say, or news outlets. I would call somebody and say, do you guys see what I see in the sky right now? Yes or no? And if everybody said, we don't see anything.
He's in the Philippines. That's why I said, you guys, and I'll report back. I'm going to get my partner to ask his friend next time he's talking to him, did you hear about this? Did you see it? And his friend, I know his friend quite well. He's a teacher. He doesn't really believe in the paranormal or anything. So if he did see it or he heard about it, I'll get the lowdown, see what he says. He's right there. He says, sorry, I had to. Let's call Ghostbusters. I will tell you with news outlets, the other thing I have learned with my son having worked with it, and one of my partner's closest friends is very high up with our news. That you take direction sometimes with things that you see that get reported that always don't get reported on the news. And it's not just because we're in Canada. I know that there is in other parts of the world too with bigger things. So I'm happy when news reports, though, will report things.
Yeah, we'll do it.
I would be surprised because I can tell you, I had so many people tell me when things went flying off the wall in my house, when the paranormal activity happened in my previous home. You know what my aunt asked me? She goes, well, why didn't you call the police? I said, why would I call the police? Well, like something's flying off your wall. Like it ended up in the living room. Like, how did that happen? 15 feet from where it hung. I go, and what would I tell the police? What would I do?
No, stuff like that you can't. But I mean, this is in the earshot of billions of people who could be seeing it at the same time.
I will bet you money you call the police.
I'm not saying do, but I will say this, as far as I'm concerned, I believe more in the personal experience than I do believe in someone saying, I post this on TikTok.
You told me to post my UFO thing on TikTok, remember? Nobody commented on it.
Yeah, but that was real. But that was, I know you, and that was real. And see, that's the whole thing, you guys. That was a real thing. I'm sticking up for
I'm not
Lorilei.
saying it's real. I'm just saying it's weird and it's blowing up on there. I haven't heard anything
I've known Lorilei for years now, and I know Lorilei is not going to outright lie to somebody in order to get somebody to watch a video. And she posted this, and she showed me the video, and I said, that is really good because that's real, posted on TikTok. You can see the people see it. And it's funny. The thing that was actually real, nobody watched. But the things that were faked, everybody watched. It's just odd.
I sent you.
I believe you have. I believe you have. I believe you have paranormal activity, Michelle. Because,
I believe you, Michelle.
Yeah, because we know lots of people who do, and that is one of those things. Like you can't call someone and like my mom had said. We were talking the other day. We were talking about one of our houses. She goes, "That's the ghost house, wasn't it? That was the house with that little girl who used to talk to you all the time, right?" And I said to my mom, I said, "Yeah, Mom." I said, "All you guys did was throw the dog in the basement to see if the ghosts were down in the basement." I said, "Why didn't you guys call somebody?" She's like, "David, who in the hell am I going to call? Who am I going to call?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess,
There's nobody you can call about this kind of stuff, believe me, because we've all done crazy. If you're here, you've either heard about it or you've experienced it. David, you've experienced crazy too.
Oh yeah, I've got lots of
when you call people, they think you're insane.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't know. Okay, Michelle, you said, where can I view that video, Lorilei? What one would that be, Michelle? If you're a bit more specific, feel free to let me. Oh, the one that I post on TikTok?
The one you just played. Yeah, the one you just played. No,
I'm wondering if she's asking about the one on TikTok that I posted.
Oh, yeah, look at the one that Lorilei posted on TikTok, because that's some real
the UFO one. It's on TikTok. Just look. I don't know what I'm under, David. What am I under on TikTok? You might know.
The Angel Rock.
The Angel Rock. Okay, the Angel Rock. It'll be the Angel Rock 1508, but I think it is the Angel Rock.
Speaking of police who don't do crap, I have not. Okay, this disclaimer: I'm not saying police don't do crap. I'm talking about with the paranormal. Years ago, because this is back when. I was always really super psychic and stuff. But anyway, one time, I think I told Lorilei about this. I was driving home from the bar, and I saw a car that was on fire, and I literally drove by the car. It was on fire, and I'm like going, "There's a car on fire." It was like,
I remember you telling me this.
Yeah. And so when I got past it, I called the police, and I said, "There's a car on fire at this place, whatever," right when I went by it. And apparently there was no car there. But in the morning, a cop knocked on my door and said they wanted to interview me because there was a car that was on fire later on. I saw it before it caught it on fire. But the police, same thing. They were really weird. I mean, the police are like, "How did you call that in? How did you know their car was going to be on fire?" They wanted to know if I actually set a car on fire. I'm like, "No, dude, I'm passed out here from a night of drinking. I don't have time to start cars on fire,
But that's the thing I was just going to, Kim, I'm going to address your comment. I saw that higher. David, I just sent you the picture of the bird feeder. Can you show Lorilei? Feel free, or send it to me, Kim. You can send me a friend request. Or the other thing is, I've got a public profile, so anybody can share. But yes, I remember, David, you saw that. Now that's the other thing I was going to say, because I know a lot of people who are very psychic that have been friends of mine. I have one friend, I will not give them away who they are. They can see through the eyes of a serial KILLER, and this person has not been caught. They know what their next victim's going to look like, and I've had quite a conversation with them. Now, this was probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I kept saying I could probably connect you with someone that may be able to help you. Or I have another friend, very, very psychic, that lives over off of the coast of Italy. And she has seen things happen like you did, David, beforehand. And she's wanted to call. And I keep telling you guys, you have to be so careful with that, because how do you prove that you're not the one that did it Or how do you have this kind of knowledge?
Yeah,
Right? That's
no.
Mhm.
You are absolutely correct. Because I know when I drove by it, I wasn't like seeing it in my third eye. I drove by it and I was like, there's a car on fire next to me. And I just kept driving because I had been out at the bar. And I even on the way home said to myself, were you just drunk? And it's like, you better call the police. And it wasn't until they came over the next morning and said the car I said.
You don't want to call the police. And I'm not, don't get me wrong, I have the highest regard for police. I was going, if you could believe me, being a police officer. Yeah. I applied to the RCMP and they had a hiring freeze. And it was during the first Gulf War. I made it through everything. I was supposed to come back 6 months later. It was once the war thing had settled down, but I'd met my first husband. I could never be a police officer.
Oh, I could never do it either. Those guys, you know what I have to say? I know there's some good ones and all that, but they got a job and a half that's just too rough for me. I'm glad they're doing what they do.
Well, I wanted to read this, Michelle, because I think this is an important comment, because I have been there. Many of us have been there. You said you don't know how terrified I was. I didn't know who to tell. I didn't want to end up in a nursing home or in a straitjacket. And I can agree with you. Now, what I suggest to people with paranormal activity, if you can, document it. I have been accused over the years. I had one man, never even heard our story. I'd reached out for help. He had been in a call-in show of a friend of mine that did a paranormal show. And before I went to call him, I heard Spirit say, you should record the call. And I remember arguing, I'm not recording the person. I don't record people. I don't know where that voice just came from. Did you hear that?
I kind of heard a little whisper too.
No, it sounded like a giggle almost. Tell me if anybody else heard that. Anyways, he ended up being so obnoxious. He diagnosed me, I know I've said this before, with intergalactic satellite goldfish. I'm making a t-shirt of that. I own it now. He called me that, not knowing I was a nurse. There's no such diagnosis. That I was making everything up basically for clout, that I was a psycho case, and on and on and on and on. Never saw any of the pictures, never saw anything, right? And you get this. So the reason, and he told me I was obsessed with this and I was making things up. This is long before deep fakes and everything else. Yeah. But I specifically documented because I knew people were not going to believe me. And I always say it's so isolating when you're going through something like this. And just remember, Michelle, you're home here. Everybody here will believe anything you're saying, as long as it's not like you have a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. But then again, if you get pictures and we can prove they're not.
Yeah, if you get pictures and doctor them up.
It's so isolating because it's not like you could stand in line or on queue if you're over in the UK in that area and start talking about the paranormal. But once somebody opens that door a crack and then somebody nudges it with their foot a bit more open and you're in a group of people, 90% at least will have something to add to it in the way of an experience. Would you think that, Dave?
No, I agree with you. Most people have seen something, but they don't say it. After my near-death experience, I mean, I told the doctors and the nurses all that stuff. They interviewed me and did all that stuff. But then after a while, it kind of seemed like people, everything I'd tell them something, they'd like look at each other. And I'm like, I didn't like the feeling. I stopped talking about it for months afterwards. I didn't even want to tell anybody what happened. And when I was a little boy, and all the activity happened in our house and my parents knew about it and everything else, none of my neighbor friends or anybody knew. We didn't discuss that with them. Mm-hmm. You know, you just didn't do it. It's sad because it happened. So I totally get it that you didn't. But you know what? There are people to talk to. Just look for them. So if you're having something happen, don't look for somebody, though, who's going to jump on the fear bandwagon. But there are people to tell about this stuff.
I didn't tell my doctor for years, and I got very close with her. I miss her. She hasn't passed, but she's just working at the hospital now. She's not from this country. She's from Pakistan. And eventually one day I got up the courage to tell her what I was going through, and she looked at me and she said, Lorilei, why didn't you tell me about this? And I said, because I didn't want you to 5150 me and sign me up to the hospital. And she goes, oh gosh, back home. And she told me, she goes, we would call them jinn. And she explained, obviously, we'd call them maybe a genie here. She said we refer to them kind of like an angel or a demon, depending on their activity. And she told me in their own homes, on the stuff they had gone through and what they utilized over in that neck of the woods. but you can't. So find a place, maybe kind of hang out and see what people are talking about. There's enough people talking about the paranormal. And if you resonate with the people there and you feel welcome and you feel safe, that's where you got to go and ask the questions. Now, I wanted to answer this. I know Dave's going to answer it too. Don't psychics work with the police? They can, but you have to realize, like, especially I do follow true crime. I adore Gisela K with Grizzly True Crime, and I adore Joel Waldman. He's got Surviving the Survivor, for example. Great true crime channels. I don't know. Joel might be a little more open getting to know him over the years I've followed about a psychic. Gisela wants nothing to do with it. It's like, nope, it's pure facts and that's what it is. And that's fine. I respect that. But it's a fine line. How do you prove as a psychic or a medium that you can help solve a crime? Right. And when you know details of a crime that nobody else knows. So there are cases. I love watching when there's TV shows of psychic detectives. But I think it's more on a federal level, when you think, Dave, where they may be open to, with a reputation, looking at.
I've done a few things with them, but it's, you know what, it's not like it's not like in a TV show. Like it's like I was contacted and asked if I would do this, and then it was anonymous. So I went online and I was actually working with, I think it was 5 or 6 other psychics, and they would give us something and we would all put our findings in. And what happened is they would find that 6 people who don't even know who they are or anything else would come up with the same thing. And that's pretty much what they base it on. There's usually they usually don't just go to one psychic and do something, but they do. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't, because they do. There are, I just watched a documentary. It was a couple of years ago. There is a woman, and she's not famous, so per se. And when they did the documentary on her, they never even really showed her complete face. But that's her job. Outside being a psychic, her job is to work with police, and they call her up a lot and just say, we've had something happen, da 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 da, and they'd give her the stuff that she needed. And then all she would do is come back, and she would, on a piece of paper, she didn't type it out. And I know there's a reason why they don't have us type stuff out anymore on the internet, is because the internet is hacked and the internet is forever, and the internet can keep stuff forever. But she would write stuff down on paper, and then a detective would come to her house, 2 detectives, and she would go through her findings with the detectives. And that was it. She didn't get paid.
Kennedy, he's pretty well retired now, but I took his remote viewing course, and I really would have liked to have been a part of it. That's why I took it. Was he does sort of similar what you said. He'll get the call. He's the intake person. He has what he would refer to as psychic remote viewers, and there's other just remote viewers. And he may, like I was working on some of his practice cases, and he'd just give you like a 12-digit number. And through the remote viewing process that you learned from him, you'd have to locate where this was. But he sort of did the same thing, Dave. Like, he'd give them maybe 1 or 2 different details. They're trying to find a lost person. Some of his more advanced courses, when he was teaching them, he would teach you how to check a body for a pulse if you remote viewed it and what have you. And he had a really high success rate with this. But the same thing, we didn't all talk to one another, right? And he even had gotten facial recognition, the computer software. So because you try and describe maybe who you're seeing. But yeah, he's 5'10", 175 pounds, semi-balding with short black hair, a mustache, and go try and explain that, right? Versus if you could go through it as one of his people and do a sketch that way, they would do that. So I hear what you're saying. So it can be done, but I think you have to have somebody that's really open-minded. Plus the other thing is, I think they have to exhaust all of their avenues. For example, Nicola, just let me add this, Dave. Nicola Bully over in the UK disappeared without a trace last year, walking her dog. She dropped her kids off to school. Nobody could find her. They dragged the river. They did everything. And this guy was walking. It was like a dog walking thing. he was walking the path with his partner and he stopped and he said, Nicholas here in the lake. It was a stream. And he had to call police and he told them. And sure enough, they did come because they had no other avenues. She'd been missing for 3 or 4 weeks. Sure enough, she was there. But this guy didn't put his name out there. He closed down all his social media. He did it just to help. He didn't do it for fame or glory. Go ahead, Dave. But it can be done.
I agree with you. It can be done, but I agree with what you said on more of the federal level. It's not like a local police department going to contact you. It's going to be somebody. They know what they're doing. It's like when people talk about remote viewing, it's really funny how the world keeps stuff down. I'll watch my house get blown up after this. There are people who work in governments all over the world who remote view and are damn good at it. And they do use those. Most psychics are like, Lorilei, she knows how to remote view. I know how to remote view. It comes up. I don't practice it all the time anymore. Although, if you guys want to know here, this is interesting. I have this on my phone because remote viewing is a skill, and it's just like being a psychic. It's a skill, and it's not just a gift. Everybody has it. If you work on something, it's kind of like piano. Anybody can play the piano. Yeah, if you can do it. If you're going to dedicate your life and your time to it. There is an app on the phone that I use, and I don't know if I told you about this. It's called RV Tournament. It's the same thing. They give you a case number, and they give you the number, and then you go into this app, and once they give you the number, I concentrate on the number, and then I start writing down all the shapes and all the things.
Is that the Zener app? Is that the Zener app?
No, it's not a Zener app. It's called RV Tournament, and it's for real.
Oh, I know what that is. I was reading the comments. I know what that is. Yeah. Do you know who Russell Targ is? He's really old. Okay, Russell Targ is really old now, but he was the psychologist who worked with the first U.S. military remote viewing team. He has a free app for Google or Android called ESP Trainer. And it's kind of the same. Or there is the RV Tournament. I have a whole bunch of or remote viewing stuff like that on my phone too. Sorry, I was reading the comments. We got a lot of comments.
No, I love that stuff. I mean, I think it's good to practice on. I mean, remote viewing, if you know remote viewing, you don't necessarily have to be a psychic or have to be anything, but literally if you lost something, you could possibly remote view it or at least give you some hints.
Okay, there is a free masterclass. I'm going to find it for remote viewing with Lori Williams. There's a group for it, and her team is called Intuitive Specialists. But if you look her up, remote viewing on Facebook, you look it up on the internet, she's pretty expensive to work with, but she's got quite a few free things that she gives away on her website. She has, I believe, an 86% accuracy rate with remote viewing, which means that when she goes to remote view something, from the future, from the past, mostly from the past, so a present time, she has an 86% accuracy rate with doing it. She works a lot with Lynn. I always forget Lynn's last name, not McEachran. Lynn, he was part of the remote viewing team with Russell Targ. And I just watched an interview with Joe McKinley, I think it was, too. He was part of that team as well. It's quite fascinating to learn about remote viewing, because there's a guy that a lot of businesses hire that Lori talks about, Lori Williams, from time to time, that he is so wealthy beyond means because he's that accurate at looking into the future. And a lot of big companies will hire him and get him to remote view when they're going to put out a new product to see what the success rate will be.
But it might be, yeah. I mean, it can be. I'm not going to even say it like it's some mysterious thing, because it's not. I mean, this is something innately that spirit does, and that's what you are. So you just got to
know how it'll work out, though, because there's so many possibilities and timelines. But I guess if you've got two set paths that you know you're going to take as a company, and you're not going to veer off on different timelines, and what would be the highest probability of success? This path A or path B? I guess you could do it.
I guess I don't know how they do it, because I mean, I'm a strong believer, and I know like we can get stuff for, like, more times than not, we say things that are correct. But I have to say it really depends. Like when we give a reading, we always tell people, this is what we're seeing now. On the path you are on now. Yeah, if you will stay on the path you are on now, this is most likely what's coming up. I can see it clear as day. If you don't want that, all you got to do is switch right here and you can go to here. So we can see that. But I understand what you mean. I'd like to know that too. I'd like to see the mechanics behind that, because to remote view for a company, you'd have to say, okay, company, if you do this, you have to stay on this path and then you'll get to this way, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. I would like to also know that. That sounds really
questions. This is a good question, Kasoon. You said, can you guys see spirits when you watch paranormal investigation videos? To me, am I picking up anything extra? No, but could I read into the energy as, say, an EVP that was picked up or what have you? But I'm not sitting there with my psychic mediumship glasses on there. Usually when I'm watching a paranormal show, I'm just watching it like you'd watch a movie or something. I'm not sitting there looking at the whole thing going, oh, like, what is this? What is this? And I'm not being facetious that way. It's more of an entertainment for me than to, I mean, if there was something obvious, have I picked things up that other people haven't seen? Yes. But I don't know. What about you, Dave?
Not unless I'm engaged. I'd have to be, and like I'm the same as Lorilei. When I'm watching shows like that, I really don't have my David Psychic going on. I pretty much have I'm David Human. I want some entertainment going on.
It's mindless. Like you're just sitting there, or like when I'm doing research, like throughout the day, like I'll look at stuff, and if it's ridiculous, I'll show it. If it's not ridiculous, or if it's like, what do you guys think? But I'm not sitting there playing psychic detective, if you will, seeing what you miss.
It's different to do that. And then it's not something I do. If something comes to my attention, like Lorilei said, we could be watching something and there might something come to our attention.
I think it's irresponsible too, Dave, though, to open ourselves up when we're watching a show that we know nothing about, and we're going to keep ourselves open, and whatever wants to come through can come through and communicate with us. And no, we're just watching, like you said, with the human. I do, though, like if it comes with a warning, because I know, like, say, Colin Brown at the Paranormal Files, sometimes he'll tell you, like, I'm going into a notorious place. You may want to do whatever. So I don't do it from a place of space. I'll just make sure I'm grounded. And
if you're talking about a live paranormal investigation
that's
video,
different.
If you're talking, I know. I was just thinking about it. I said, I wonder if he's talking about a live. If I'm watching a live paranormal investigation videos, yes, I get all kinds of hits. Mm-hmm. It's automatic. Mm-hmm. But if I'm just watching something taped or what, no, I don't.
It's a good question.
I did a couple years ago, just to show you how this is. I did something with Haunted Journeys a long time ago. It was a lot of fun. But how they have the world's largest ghost hunt? Mm-hmm. Well, they took teams from all over the world. I was at home during that night, and I was with a team that I believe they were in Ohio. Truly, I wish I could remember their names, because this is one of the paranormal teams that I had so much respect for, because I really liked the way they did their stuff. But what I did is they took turns taking me with them through the house. The people on their team who weren't psychic at all, they would say, David, we're in this room right here. And I'd be talking to them. I'd be linked to them by headphone. So I could say, hey, I'm feeling that there's like if you go out that door to your left and go down the hall to the right, I'm feeling there's a closet there in the left, and there might be something down there. And they would go down there and I'm like, how did you know that? I'm like, oh, duh, you're talking to me. But it's funny when they put you in those situations and ask you how you know it. But that was really interesting. And I did see, I did find a few things. And then there was some stuff that there is nothing. Because, not just because a place has activity doesn't mean that everyone's going to pick it up, because sometimes the activity is meant for certain people. And so, and we talk about that a lot. And there's because there's a girl that had picked up a lot of stuff in this one bedroom, and nobody there believed her. And she asked if I'd go into the bedroom with her on the film. And I went in there and I said, I don't see what you saw, but I definitely feel that there's something in there big time. There was something in there. I said, I never tell somebody it feels negative. You know,
Well, you
I
know
would
what I
just
did
tell them
watch? Oh, sorry,
it
go ahead,
feels
babe.
something. Oh, I just say I just feel something. However you take it, because I always tell people, I tell Laura Lee a long time ago, everything's neutral until we define it. So,
Plus, if you
but
tell people that, like, it's kind of like what most people, right? When you're told something about somebody before you meet them, even
mhm.
though, and I do try to be very neutral when I go in and form my own opinion, you still got that in the back of your head.
Exactly. And I agree with you 100%. And we can't go, that's why, like, it's really important for especially mediums when they go on an investigation, they really got to clear everything the hell out of their head and their belief systems and everything, and just go, I'm going in, I have the ability to feel this stuff. Let's just go feel what's there. And then you go from there.
I
But
want to
if,
add this to what you're saying. When I
yes,
was looking for weird, strange stuff today, it came up with a psychic medium spiritual teacher, Maureen St. Germain, and she was on Coast to Coast AM, but it's under her TikTok, which is at spiritual SOS, all one word. Okay. She taught people an exercise very quickly about how to connect with your higher self and to play with it for 6 weeks. She explained why for 6 weeks. If you guys want, I will post it in our group and you guys can check it out. I also posted it. I do that in my own group, but I've been trying to do it in David and I's group. If there's free learning opportunities, you want to learn how to kick into your own intuitive abilities or whatever it may do, I try to remember to share it in our group as well. Because if it's free, guys, why not? Take advantage
yeah,
of it, right?
yeah.
So this was really cool because what she's teaching people in here, I thought, was your sign for yes, your sign for no, and your sign for neutral when you're connecting with your higher self. And she was teaching you how to use that versus, say, people that want to use a pendulum or want to use whatever. I thought it was a really cool, simple exercise. She explained it works with 90% of most people. She said if it doesn't, and she talks a little bit about tweaking it. It's not very long. It's about a 5-minute video. Jackie says that sounds great. Okay, I will post it.
Well, it's fun. You know, I think that everybody should learn how to connect to their higher self. I mean, if that's how half my readings are done through that connection.
Mm-hmm. But I thought it was cool because she was telling this story of this lady asking for a sign from her higher self for yes. And she said her left foot, I think she said it was the left foot, started to itch. And she said, so she was saying to herself, okay, body, I hear you. I feel you. Please just settle down. Now I need a sign from you, higher self. What is my yes? And then she said I think her ears started to itch. And again, she's within the mind's eye, she's calming the body down. No, I'm waiting for my sign. And then she said her whole body started to itch. She goes, okay, I get it. That's my sign for yes. I thought
You
it
know
was
what? And anybody who listens to those things and say, oh, those are just, because I used to be like this years and years ago. I'd be like, oh, what are you going to learn in 5 minutes from this? Everybody's going to be like, oh, I connected to my higher self in 5 minutes. But you know what? What happens is when you're learning how to do these things, you're going to follow this little formula that you got. That formula was put there on purpose in order to get your mind ready and open for this. After a while, you're probably not going to do anything you learned from the exercise. It's just going to be natural at that point.
It'd be natural. Well, that's what she talks about, why it has to be 6 weeks. And she references a really well-known chiropractor. I didn't know his name. She couldn't remember. It came in within 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. And she said it takes 6 weeks for the body to start generating new DNA paths, is the way she used it. Not my words, hers. Yeah. Basically, to me, I think it takes 6 weeks to build a new habit to become routine. Basically.
Yep. And it doesn't matter how you learn it, as long as you learn it. I mean, I know it because I know that the human mind cannot conceive of anything. It only perceives everything. Everything you're doing and everything you're thinking about isn't coming from the human mind. It's coming from your higher self. The higher self conceives it and you perceive it. Mm-hmm. And so that's just how you really look at things.
But I wasn't looking for this, and it started playing, and I started watching
little classes like that.
Yeah. What a cool.
Maybe you're supposed to tell everybody. You guys, listen, any little class you can take to learn anything, whether it works for you or not, just take it.
Especially if it's free. Like I sign up for them and I usually share them. I don't always share them in the paranormal group of mine, but the spiritual one I will. And because we talk about both paths with the thing at the foot of the bed, I've been trying to share them over in our group because we forgot to tell them about our group, Dave.
Oh, yeah. I
Should we
will.
tell them?
Yeah, real quickly, Diane Brighton, imagination, is that part of your mind?
Yes.
It is. It's actually, yes. It's your lifeline to the other side. That's where they use. That's what's used. Yeah, but it's not weird stuff. But that's how it comes in. What Lorilei was saying is, you guys, if you are on Facebook or one of the billions of listeners listening to us right now, please go to Facebook and join the Thing at the Foot of the Bed on Facebook. It's the Thing at the Foot of the Bed with Lorilei Potvin and David Hanzel. Once we hit 200 subscribers or more, Lorilei and I will go into that group and we'll do some free card reads and stuff. Also, if you have short stories you want to share, let us, we'll see them in there. We could talk about them on the air. Or if you have pictures you want to show us,
Kathy Hanley Little shared one, and that's what people thought. Dave and I commented on it. So yeah, share away.
And if you are one of those people who say you don't have anybody to turn to or to listen to you about your stuff, it's a safe place to post that in that as well. And Lorilei also takes the time and takes any videos we show and she puts them in the group usually.
I usually do. You have to try to remember. Kasoon, you are freaking me out, because literally that's what showed up in my feed. I'll read this comment in a second. When I started just looking for weird stuff, and then I started watching, and what Kasoon is asking, what's your guys' opinion on black-eyed kids? They don't fit into any paranormal categories. I think they fit into all of them.
Yeah, I think
anybody knows what they are.
Yeah, I think for me now, they are a phenomenon.
I think they exist. I don't know if they come from another dimension. I don't know if it's an ET human hybrid, which I'm sort of feeling, but then I want to know, why do they have to have your permission to come in? And they get so hella insistent on coming in. And then people that have let them in, the very few that do, never mind the common reactions people have when these children are around, but also with the fact that they know things that they shouldn't know. And also people get very sick if they've let them in. I don't know what they are. They exist, so I believe it.
It might be my speakers. It couldn't be my speakers. I got a new computer. There's something in the speakers going on, which is odd. Black-eyed children, I agree with Lorilei. I don't know what they are. Not enough data really right now. They're like, but there's, when I started to go down the rabbit hole of all the lores around the world, there's literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands of them. So everything comes from something. And like we would say, it's all a perception. Two different classes of people can perceive the same thing and see it differently,
I really study black-eyed kids. And there are white-eyed kids, which are not so common. I haven't spent much time on that, but black-eyed kids I have, looking at people's reports of this, what has happened, what is going on, because I just have a gazillion questions always. And I'm going like, why must you be asked to come in? And then people will say, are they vampires with vampire lore, right? You have to invite the vampire in. Then there's what happens to people that let them in. And then why do people get this horror and absolute dread? They seem to disappear. I've seen people report that it looks like the men in black show up with vehicles to pick them up. And we're not talking one or two stories here. We are talking a lot.
They're all over.
Stories.
Yeah. I personally don't have any encounters with black-eyed kids.
I don't ever want one.
Yeah, and I've never had any personal encounters with somebody telling me they saw one. I've just read about them and know about them. I take everything with a grain of salt because you have to.
I think when there's that many people talking about it from different parts
there's something. World, there's something.
And they all have similar type experiences. And when I think it's important to go back and look at it, I think the first guy that talked about, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say 84, but I think that's too late back. It might have been 94, 2004. It's got to be probably 94. But my point is, okay, go back to the cases when he wrote that first book because they weren't well known. And then you look at the phenomena of the people he was able to interview and speak to after his own experience. to me, because then the internet, you weren't getting people looking on the internet saying, oh yeah, it happened to me, this is what happened, or anything like that. It's more pure data to me, because it's not like it's an open subject again that you can just go sit and chat openly to people about.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh no, you can't. You can't. And then there's probably, who knows? I think they stem from religion.
I don't think so, Dave. I don't know. They've got like
no, I don't mean they were made up in religion.
You think like a tulpa?
No,
They're physical. They're physical.
Yeah, I know they're physical, so I don't think they're tulpas. I think they do. I think they stem from maybe the connotations or the confusions that come around religion. I'll put it that way. I'm not saying they're made up. I'm saying, well, maybe that's where they derived from. I think for some reason I feel there's something.
3 kids banging on your window at 2 a.m. They always wear very drab clothes that aren't typical for teenagers. And most people will report this feeling of absolute dread and terror. There was one guy that was a prison guard, looked like he was about 275, pure muscle. He said he had every gun in the house out. He was so terrified, and he kept saying to himself, what the heck am I so afraid of 3 little kids for? I am not kidding. Like when you start looking at these stories, and it's like, first of all, they come out of nowhere. So to me, are they dimensional? Was somebody doing an experiment that shouldn't have been doing an experiment, and now you've got these kids? I don't know. Like, I don't know what they are, but they are physical. And I can tell you there's been thousands of stories.
Are there does somebody actually have pictures of them?
I've been looking, and again, I can't trust them. I look for them today because in this day and age, it's not.
I know it's hard. It's
like that with black eyes.
I like that the world made it really difficult. There's 2 forms of thinking in the world nowadays. There's people who are going to just fall for everything. And then there's people who are going to say everything's fake. And then there's people like us who are like, okay, we kind of know it exists and we know that there's pictures, but we really don't trust you at this point. And that's the hard thing about it. I know. It almost makes me want to have an experience.
I don't ever want to have an experience. I think
I don't think I want that either. Yeah. I don't.
She says, be a critical thinker. I think that's absolutely right. Best thing you can tell people. No. Let's read his comment. We'll read his question. Okay. Soon asked, demons are known to represent themselves as kids, right? Absolutely not always. No. And David, you've said, and I respect your, and again, it doesn't matter about semantics. There's good and there's bad.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But demons, and I will agree with David, comes from a lot of religious dogma, the name. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you what presented itself to me, including giving me its name, its spelling, and its animal form years ago. I was raised Roman Catholic. I had never seen this name, never heard this name, could not find this name. And 6 years later, I was helping somebody else with the paranormal. Everything I'd been told in this dream was exactly right there on paper. Was he a child? No. And I can tell you some of the stuff I have smelt when stuff has been going on. Like, I don't know what we experienced, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't good. And like
you said it correctly. I agree with you. I mean, semantic. Okay, we'll call something demon. It's because that's the label we gave it or whatever.
If a child shows up, though, in an investigation for me, or when I'm connecting and it's a child, I got questions. Because children usually don't hang around or trap. They're pure beings. Can they? Yes. But I got questions if it's a kid.
Yeah.
But they don't always show up as kids.
Yeah, exactly. It's a weird subject. And I don't ever want to say like demons come as kids, because there's going to be some radical idiot out there who starts to believe that every kid he sees is a demon.
That's just like
just like when people had it on them that black cats on Friday the 13th are dangerous, and that's just bullshit. Sorry, that's just bull. That's not true. and they go around hurting cats. So I don't want anybody to hurt any kids.
And have there been spirits that have been children that need help? Yes.
Yes.
There have been. So you can't just stand around and say that every child is an evil spirit.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm not on the demon train, but Lorilei knows that. I mean, we call it what we want to call it.
The way I look at it is you can't just have all love and light. And if everything's energy, including our thoughts, our words, and our emotions, and there are lower dimensions, where does all that energy go? If energy can either be destroyed.
While we are here, we have to have, we have to have opposition while we're here. That's what makes the planet. We have to have good and evil, black and white, cold and hot. Otherwise, we wouldn't know the difference. So
I like what Kathy said. Demons are spirits in a lower frequency, if you will, lower negative frequency. So I think it's all about semantics, what you want to call it, right?
It really is.
But do I think that every spirit is love and light? No, I don't. I'm sorry, but I don't. Because I've experienced it myself. And just because I've experienced it, do I think that everybody experiences it? No. I also don't like that every show tries to make everything look like the D word. That is so far from true. So far from true.
Yeah.
So I like Kevin's comment. He said, if black-eyed kids are real, it does feel negative overall, but maybe some have a good intent. But for most, I heard not a positive experience. That would be how I would word it, Kevin.
Yeah, that's a good way to word it, Kevin. That's a very good way to word it. And and Lorilei, me and Lorilei talk about this too. Stuff like we talk about what we perceive as negative to them might be totally acceptable.
I love when you said that. I've brought it up when I've been a guest on a show. I always give you credit for it because it came from you. But you're right. It's we're looking at it with our human eyes, right? We got to label, but where it's from, maybe it's not what we would perceive to be evil. That's just neutral.
People in other countries who cows are sacred, but yet here, we slaughter the heck out of them. They got to think we're some kind of monsters over here. Like it's all in perception. It's all in perception. And so who knows?
And speaking of that, we are almost out of time. So you guys always put great questions, great comments here. I had a whole slew of videos for you. I always do just in case, but we got some I'll post in the group tonight. Now, if you guys like what you're seeing, please stay tuned for the second night of The Outer Realm with the amazing Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. I don't know who they have as a guest tonight, but they always have a great show. Always. Yeah. So, Dave, where can they find you and get a hold of you and everything else?
If you want to know more about me or get a reading or any of that fun stuff, you can go to my website, theywhispertome.com. It's the only place you can book a reading from me besides my Linktree and my TikTok. If you ever get a private message from me, it's not me. I never ever do that. Neither does Lorilei. No. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, it's at Medium David Hanzel, spelled just like that. No slashes, no dashes, no numbers, no exclamations. I'm also on YouTube and Facebook under The Spirit Experience.
And Kasoon said, great show. So thank you, Kasoon. I lost you there. Hang on. As always, thank you. Poor Carrie Lynn, she shared with me too, Dave. She gets the same thing happening. People pretending they're her and whatever. Thank you, Diane and Jackie and everybody saying it was a great show. And we love all of you guys too. And ladies, I just say guys collectively. We love that you're here. And if you ever want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on any social media platform, actually. The easiest and fastest way to get a hold of me, because Dave, I took a look at my website that I don't give out, but you can find it. I made it quite a few years ago. It needs so much work. So I was telling, oh my God, it doesn't have our show on there. Like things have changed so much. I need to sit down and revamp that whole site.
I've got to go back in mine too. So I'm in the same boat. I got to
yours is way better than mine. So you can get a hold of me on facebook.com/The Angel Rock. That's usually the best way to make a contact with me. And then if you want to have a conversation or something, just get a hold of me on Messenger. It's the easiest. Or you can find me on any social media platform, anything, either under the Angel Rock or under Lorilei Potvin. And David is right. We do not contact. I always love when the fake psychics contact us and say, "Oh, I felt your energy. I have a message from spirit for you. Where do you live?" And it's right on Facebook where you live, right? When they message you. It's like, dude, did you just open up Facebook and go, that one? I'm gonna
that one, yeah. That's crazy.
So I have 2 groups on Facebook for all things paranormal. You're going to go to Paranormal University, and for more of the spiritual things, you're going to go to the Angel Rocker Tribe. Sorry. What else do I want to say here? I had something I went completely blank. This is what it is. Monday night, April the 8th. It is, if you're over in North America, it's eclipse time. We ordered glasses. Apparently, we're going to be looking. So we'll see. You can see Lucky Paranormal will be coming on from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Otherwise, David and I will be back here same time, same space, right, Dave?
Yeah. When it's the 8th, is it next Thursday, our show?
Monday.
It's Monday. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, what am I thinking? That's a whole other week. Monday. Perfect.
Leanne Clark and Debbie A. Anderson. And of course, I hit the wrong button. So it looked like we had 2 episodes of the thing at the foot of the bed this week. They were on. So we talked about some of that and the positive things we could do and to have a positive perspective. And because there's all kinds of scary, scary stuff out there. Dave, are you on?
I made a video yesterday on TikTok about what's going to happen on April 8th. And it's a eclipse. Okay.
So Kasun said, Dave, are you on Discord? I am.
No, I was on there and it invited a bunch of people on there and it got weird and I didn't do it. It did it on its own and it messed up a lot of people. So I went right back off Discord.
I'm on Discord and in tons and tons of groups. I told you, if there's a social media platform, I'm on there. There was something I was going to say that was important now. Oh, well, I'll probably remember. Oh, that's what it was. Don't forget to join our group, you guys. Thing at the foot of the bed with Lorilei.
Join our group.
David Hanzel. Yes. Join us.
For anything, free readings, join our group.
And we're almost at 100, so we're at 200, you guys. And
we're going to get We'll get there. And by the way, you guys, we just want to say stay spooky and eat your bacon. And some of you will get that.
Are you ready to say ours? And stay tuned, you guys. Hang out for the
quick. Hassan, you did have it. It was from me, but it was accidental that it sent out all those. I'm actually not on there anymore.
Okay. All right. So you ready?
Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. What's at the foot of your bed?
Did we do it at the same time?
No,
you guys have to start it. We did it exactly. I think we might have. I don't know.
It's funny though.
You have to let us know
everybody.